Hello everybody, I've got another bike for you. This one is a 1963 Royal Enfield Meteor Minor 500. They sold quite a lot of these, but there's not that many around. Even the cat's got to come and have a look because it knows it's rare. What can I tell you about this? Right. The guy that sold me this bike a while ago, he said it's a Meteor Minor Sport. And I said, what makes you think it's a Meteor Minor Sport? He said, because I looked it up. And I said, what did you look up? And he said, I looked up the phone number of the bloke I bought it off. And I asked him. I said, well, it's not a Meteor Minor Sport. And he said, how do you know? I said, because the Meteor Minor Sport, they only made 485 of them between 1958 and 1961. He said, well, there you are, 1961. I said, well, yeah, but this bike is 1963. So he stopped giving me all that after a while. So they are a really sweet little bike. They're 30 horsepower. This is just a standard Meteor Minor. It's not the sport one. The difference between the sport one and this one is the sport one had a Constellation exhaust camshaft. That made the difference. It had wilder timings on it. It gave you another 3 horsepower, that's all, 3 horsepower. So they were 33 horsepower and these ones were 30. Now this one's done a bit. It's let's just say it burns a bit of oil. It does burn a bit of oil. I've just done about 80, I can tell you how many miles it is. I've done 87 miles on this bike this time, and it's used nearly a pint of oil. So I'm going to have to pull it apart, take the top end off, and I'm not going to order anything for it until I know what I've got. I've not been into this engine. It runs all right. It rides fantastically well. It goes really well. It's cheap to run, but it smokes. And I'll fire it up for you if it will. It's not quite the best starter, but we can have a try, can't we? I've just got to line the camera up so you can see it. Yeah, I think we are there. Petrol on. Bit of a tickle on the carb. It's stone cold. Not been run since this morning, early on this morning. Right, we'll give it a bit of choke. Ignition on. Hopefully. It should start fairly easily. He says not to be. Let's try again. Aha. It's coming to life. go. It runs well. It normally starts first or second kick, but you can see it did smoke a little bit, and when it's hot it does smoke. So I've got to get in there and have a look. I'm going to need a gasket set. That's the first thing I'm going to need, because I'm going to pull the top end off. So I'll get one of those ordered, which are not cheap. Gasket set for this comes out about £84. I can't find one cheaper than that. So it's one of those things, you know, you've got to commit to it. If you want to have it apart, you've got to buy gaskets. So I'll have the top end off, we'll whip the heads off, have a look at the bores, and then we'll whip the barrels off and see what wear we've got in the barrels, and have a look at the rings. I mean, best case scenario, it will still be on standard bore and the rings will just be a bit worn. We'll check the valve guides out as well. I'll give it a valve job. And but like I say, if the worst comes to the worst, I have got another pair of Meteor Minor barrels that have been bored to plus 40, and I've got new pistons in those. So if I find anything horrific, I'll probably change the barrels over and put the plus 40s on, and while I'm waiting for whatever I need for this. I like to have a spare pair of barrels for things, you know, you never know when you might need them. But I mean, chances are of it being on standard bore is nil. I would have thought. It's got 35,887 miles on the clock. I will probably be changing the tank, because the tank, I don't like the shape of the tank. I never have been a fan of those shapes of tank. I like the earlier tank. So I've got one of those, an earlier tank. So rather than rub this one down and get all the paint off, I mean, it's all crazed. Look, you can see it's really crazed. If you can see that or not, all of it is crazed. So yeah, these hold a little bit more than the others, but I don't know if you can see the petrol in there. That's done 87 miles on that tank full. Very cheap to run, get about 70, 80 miles a gallon, depending on how you're riding it. Ever so flexible. Top gear, get down to about 13, 14 mile an hour with it in top gear. Top speed, over 90, just over 90, not much over 90, but over 90. So yeah, they're a bit quicker than a bullet. They do handle well. The difference, this has got some non-standard parts on it. It should have 17-inch wheels, and it's got Borani alloy flanged rims that are 18-inch, which gears it up very slightly, and I'm not adverse to that. I like things being tall geared, and it's quite happy at 60. Quite happy at 60. It's about just over 400 pounds weight, so there's quite some big lumps of metal in there. Hello, we've got the other one coming now, sneaking through the grass. Look, never shuts up, that cat. He'll never catch anything. They can hear him coming a mile off. Yeah, so there we are. Hello puss, you keep quiet, I'm filming. Look, yes, all right. Yeah, now the other interesting thing is it's got the twin-sided brake. Got this brake here, and it's got a brake on the other side. And how does that work out? Well, no better than a twin leading shoe, really. But like I'm going to say, I'm going to pull it apart, sort it out, get it so it's not using oil, and enjoy it for the rest of the summer. Yes, all right, we know you're there. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that. This is my second Meteor Minor that I've got. The other one is built into a bullet frame, which makes very little difference. The only thing, it's not tax and MOT exempt because it's a 2008 frame, but a 1960 engine. But that other one, the other one I've got, is on the back burner. It needs new main bearings. I've got everything in stock, but it's just time, you know, trying to keep on top of all these bikes. So there we are. Pretty little bike, I like them. And this is what this engine is, the one that they developed into the 700. They put a longer stroke crank in it, same cases, same crankcases, and made the Meteor 700. And I've got one of the first Meteors off the production line in 1953. I've done a video on that and a ride out. That's quite some fast little bike. It's very hard to tell the engines apart between this one and a Meteor engine. So you've got plenty to say, haven't you? Alright, okay, well that's it. I just thought I'd show you that, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.